Hello guys, welcome to Major's Garage. This is Suellio. Today we're gonna see my lap here with the Dallara iR-01 at Suzuka. The lap time was 1:29.3 and the temperature is a 42 degrees Celsius. So let's go straight to the first corner. So first thing that I really think about here is to turn in flat out before I even think about slowing down. So as you can see, I'm really still flat out, and then when I'm getting closer to the inside curb, I start braking, not too hard because we're basically churning here at this point, and I'm gonna use this entire apex, what would be the apex for the first corner, as an actual braking zone for the second corner, which is this one. So again, going flat out here, then getting closer to the curb, start braking, and then really, as you can see, just a little bit of brakes, and the more I start churning more and more, the more I release the brakes. So my maximum pressure is here, and then I'm only decreasing and decreasing and decreasing. I let the car go wide a little bit here. You probably could do it a little bit more, but this is a little bit more consistent the way I'm doing. And then decreasing it more and more until I get to a point where I just want to keep pressing the brakes a little bit at around 5 to 10%, just to keep the car rotating. And then I want to connect that as soon as I'm ready to get back on the throttle, I connect the brakes with the throttle, so there's no coasting in between. And then here at this point, as you can see, I am actually aggressively applying the throttle to around 55%. Why do I do that? Because I want the car to pick up the rotation that I already built on entry. So I don't want to be gentle on the throttle. I want to be quickly at the traction limit. And then after that, I am going to gently and progressively increase the throttle amount all the way until 100%. As soon as you start feeling that the car needs more and more power, you can do that. But as you can see, I basically have two steps in the throttle application. The first one is the quick application to the traction limit, and then I'm going very progressively to 100%. Then letting the car really go all the way to the inside here, and actually not to the inside, to the outside. And then really preparing the next corner so you can basically use this curb entirely here. So as you can see here, I am really using the curb a lot. I am not lifting completely, so I bring my car all the way to the right here, start turning slightly early so you can actually hit this curb. And I start releasing the throttle very slightly as I turn in here. Then I want to keep a little bit of throttle, but then I'm already thinking about the next corner. So you want to actually use this curve here because you want your car as much as possible to the left so you can prepare the next right-hander. And then not too hard braking, around 15%, 20%, and then already going down to the trail braking zone, and just having the same loading the front amount of brakes, so that's around 5 to 10% again. And then the same thing, getting back on the throttle pretty aggressively to the traction limit, and then progressively going up. And then again, we repeat the same process all the way through the S's here. So as you can see, again, I'm going back to that trail brake, or just loading the fronts with a little bit of brakes. And then again, I'm getting back on the throttle. This time I'm not that aggressively. As you can see, I'm a little bit below 50%. That is because I'm using the curb here. And if you're too aggressive over the curb, the car can quickly spin. So be careful with that. And as soon as I get off the curb, as you can see, I'm already getting back on the throttle more aggressively. And then same thing. This one is a longer one. Be careful not to get on the throttle too early here, because you will really need to prepare this next left-hander up there. So as you can see, I'm really waiting a lot on this one. Wait. Okay, I get back on the throttle when I really know that the car is gonna stay at least on the middle of the track here. I don't want it to go wide to the left, because I want to bring it back a little bit, not necessarily all of it, but I want to bring very close to the edge on the right so I can really prepare the last one without having to lose a lot of speed. This is a very important last corner of the SS section, so you really need to carry a lot of speed there. So I start churning, and then again, not lifting completely, really controlling the balance of the car with the throttle basically here. I want to keep it rotating with the throttle, and the more I want it to rotate, the more I get back on the throttle. But if it oversteers too much, you have to lift some 5 to 10%. So it really depends on how the car is behaving. Then for the next corner, this car is one of the few cars that really accept using this curb here. I'm braking around 45% before the 50, but I'm turning quite early, really early. I really want to be super aggressive on this curb. As you can see, I'm basically using a lot of it. So this is around an acceptable amount. The car will just go down and stick without bouncing and losing the balance. As you can see, this is beautiful to see how the car just settles down after the bump, after the curb. And then getting back on the throttle quite aggressively here, just so you can carry a little bit more speed before braking hard for the next corner. And then for the next corner, really be careful with the exit here. You want to get back on the throttle aggressively, but you do not want to bring the car over to the left of this. The car will bottom out and lose a lot of time. You can either spin because the car is bottoming out, or just get an off track. It's really not a good idea to use all this clear green here on the left. So as you can see, I'm just letting my car around here. This is basically the maximum. Then we're going for this hairpin, a little bit tricky because if you just go full throttle before you start braking, you're not gonna be able to successfully brake. So as you can see, I'm turning the car, but then I'm slightly releasing the throttle before I start braking, and I want to be braking. I want to be starting to brake before the end of the curb, basically. So we want to be almost parallel, as parallel as possible to this white line. As you can see, actually I am parallel, just not all the way to the white line there, but I am parallel to the white line, and then I'm not worrying about opening up too much. I'm just really worrying about stopping the car here because you don't have a lot of space and you don't have enough time to think about opening up. So I'm basically braking, getting the second gear there. I will stay on second, no need the first, and then really progressive turning here. So as you can see, a little bit of locking on the inside front tires, so that could be a little bit more optimal. And then when you get back on the throttle, same thing. You want to quickly get around 50% and then slowly build up. Then for this next corner, just be sure that you're getting your car to the on the right here before the braking zone. So really pay attention to this line that you're doing here. Do not let your car just run wide to the left. You have to really prepare the next corner, the next two corners to the left. So stay a lot to the right here, as you can see. At this moment, I'm kind of using the access road to start braking as a reference. I'm not braking too hard. I want to carry a lot of speed on the first one, and then I want to decrease more and more and more for the second one here. There's a lot of downforce, so you should not really slow down the car too much. You have to trust the downforces there. I'm really deliberately using a little bit of this green here. You can put the middle of the car on this darker green curb here without getting off track. So just be careful not to hesitate, because if you try to use just the white and red curb and you clip the green with the rear tires, the car will instantly spin. So this is a little bit dangerous. It's very good to basically commit and use a lot of it. It's going to be quicker, it's going to be safer, but of course you have to pay attention to the off tracks, especially in qualifying. Here I kind of had a dangerous moment because I just clipped the grass with the rear tires, but I got away with it. I corrected it, and then I just kept going. No big deal. Just lost 1/10 there, so my lap time could have been at 1:29 too. Then same thing here, get back on the throttle aggressively to 50% so you can control that rotation and then increase gradually as if you have more and more grip. Then for this very fast left-hander, just be careful not to turn a little bit early. The car responds really quickly to your inputs. So just be very gentle here. You can use a little bit of the grass here. I would say, well, yeah, you can basically use the entire curve, no big deal. Just be careful not to go wide on the exit here on the right, because it's gonna be the same thing. If you just clip the curb and you clip the green, the second part of the curve there with the rear tires, you can instantly spin, so be careful with that. Here I'm using the 100 as a reference. I'm definitely braking before that though, so as you can see at this point I'm already at 100%. This is, let's say, some 2 cars before the 100. And yeah, as you can see at this point I'm already starting to brake, and my maximum pressure is around here, which is, yeah, around 2 cars before there is the 100. Then as you can see I'm braking 100%, so you can really aggressively brake with my setup. But then as your speed goes down, as you can see, I'm gently decreasing, even on a straight line, I'm gently decreasing my brakes, because as your speed goes down, you lose downforce, you lose braking performance, and you have to ease off very progressively the brakes, otherwise it would lock up the tires. Then downshifting to second here, getting a good engine braking to rotate the car. Don't be afraid of using the curb. Just be careful not to use too much. If you put the middle of the car on the green, you will get an off track. So a little bit of throttle just to settle the car when coming down. As you can see, as soon as I get over the curb, I press the throttle just a little bit to lift the fronts, and the car will be a little bit more organized when it settles down, when it hits the ground again. Although, yeah, this is pretty easy with this car because it really handles very well the bumps, but still, the more stable the car is, the better. And then as you can see, I'm still bringing my car to the right as soon as I go down, and then I really quickly change direction. I don't want to be gentle on the change of direction. I want to really throw the car to the other side, and then again use the curb here, and then really try to put the power down here, carefully not to over rotate the car, and also still not full throttle. I'm waiting until I get off this curb before I actually go to 100%. Then just controlling the car here. You don't need to try to bring the car a lot to the right. Just try to really push the car forward and control very slightly the rear as it wants to oversteer. You can even use a little bit more of the left area here if needed. And yeah, 129.318. I hope you guys enjoyed, and see you next week. Bye bye.